What's up, you guys? This is Adrianna Hahn. I'm about to do a video with Jahlil Beats. For those of you who don't know,
Jahlil Beats, holla at me,
is his intro for every song that he's produced. This is the second episode for my show, Outside the Huddle. We're going to discuss his influence in the community, his experience in the music industry, and what he's doing now in terms of real estate and health and education to provide for Chester and just make society a better place. So stay tuned and let me know what you guys think. Everything good with you?
What up? What up?
Yeah.
Blessed, just, staying out the way. Been in the house for like 2 weeks with the kids.
I know, man. I can't imagine. Corona is taking a huge toll on everybody. First and foremost, everybody's health and safety is so important. But it's hard when you want to, your everyday schedule is just completely halted. Even making a means for your family and the economy and the community, everything just stopped. So it's so hard. I can't imagine for people who, laid off their jobs, don't have their jobs anymore, can't even go to work to provide for their family. It's so tough. So,
Right.
But I see, you have a huge influence in the community. Everything you're doing right now, you're opening up job opportunities for your community. You're handling gentrification, which is a huge pinpoint and topic when we talk about community and how communities can change. In your music group, Tandem Enterprises, right? So Tell me how you got Tandem.
So Tandem is it's like when the stars align.
Right.
If you look it up in the dictionary, it's people working together in conjunction. Trying to reach that goal. So me and my team, we come from different backgrounds, but we all got the same goal.
Right.
So that's how we kind of came up with the name Tandem.
Right.
Just coming together and doing something great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Chester is where you're from. You got the key to the city, right?
Yeah,
There's even a Jahlil Beats Day, June 30th.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. How was that, getting the key to your city?
Yeah, that was surreal. And I've never, since I've been, working in the community. So I started working in the community once I signed my deal with Roc Nation at the end of 2011. We just took a couple dollars and, I went and bought toys and had a toy drive.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always wanted to give back. Probably when I was about 5 years old, I'm from the Lamokin Village Projects in Chester, PA. They had a toy drive there. And I'll never forget, I got the toilet monster from Ghostbusters. And I always thought, this person that gave me this, they never met me, don't know anything about me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they was willing to give me a toy and it stuck with me. So I always felt like, once I made a couple dollars, I would want to give back. You know what I mean? Right.
So you would say even before you kind of got your celebratory status and, fame in the music industry, that you always had this initiative to give back because you were in this position yourself in the community.
Right. Yep. I come from the same thing these kids come from. I know how it is. A lot of people like to judge our own people and where we come from and not understand, why we are where we were at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my thing was to not try to tell these young dudes how to be successful or how to conduct themselves, but kind of create a avenue or opportunity for them to either watch what I do or, have a job, have an opportunity to create something and stay out of the way. And that's what Tandem is all about. You know what I mean?
Right. So would you say, tying into that responsibility part, would you say that it is almost a responsibility for celebrity athletes, celebrities in general, no matter what industry you're in, if you have a platform, if you have a voice, is it almost a responsibility of yours to take initiative to make change and to give back? Like, is that something that, you kind of sign up for? Is that something that the community should expect out of people like yourself?
Yeah, I think from the body of work I've been doing since maybe 2012, I think that I signed up for that. And that's my responsibility to keep, elevating and keep innovating. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing cognition and bringing these artificial intelligence companies in, not being able to depend on police officers to come in and kind of like serve our justice, things like that.
And mandate everything.
You know what I mean? He's singling our young brothers out. You know what I mean? They singling, it ain't even about race. It's just, it's about, the police force taking these type of opportunities and abusing them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Crime happens everywhere. Right. You have bad people making bad decisions and choices everywhere. I think certain communities and societies are pinpointed because there are other targets that affect a community, like poverty, like low-income housing, all of that.
It's a lot of aspects. It's a lot of things to make these, the Camden, New Jerseys, the Wilmington, Delawares, Chester, PAs,
it's hard to get them on a map.
Phillies and things like that, etc. It's a lot of things that go with why the community is the way it is and why the poverty.
When you did that article with Forbes, you quoted, "You have to give back," especially now with like coronavirus and getting everybody involved, and who's taking leadership, who's taking initiation. I think that's key. No matter what community you come from, I came from a middle class, whatever, but I still had those role models, those influencers that I looked up to that were in the league, that were, on TV in front of the camera. I wanted to be them. So it doesn't matter, where you come from. You'll always have the desire, if that opportunity is presented to you, which is a hard thing because not a lot of opportunities are presented to, individuals and kids where you came from, especially Chester. I can't even imagine the vision that you had coming out of there because you didn't have that vision right in front of you.
I was blessed to have a good support system though. Like my pop was a producer too. So, even though I couldn't see, I couldn't really see as a youngin', I couldn't see going further than just making beats and kind of recording local dudes. My pop always pushed me and always had faith in me being bigger than, just being a local producer.
My dad was my basketball coach. So I feel, sometimes if you don't have that direct influence or that role model that's kind of pushing you towards that direction, then it's really hard for kids to go that route. Which is really unfortunate because not every kid, as we know, is going to have that parent or that brother or an older friend that's going to take them in that direction, put them under their wing and show them, this is how you have to go about life. Or even if you don't see it for yourself, you got to live off of your, confidence and anticipation that you have in your dreams to be who you are.
I always tell people I'm blessed by circumstances because of the people that were around me to kind of help mold who I am. You know what I mean? But like you said, you're 1,000% right. A lot of these young dudes, females, they don't have that guidance. They don't, some of them don't even, most of them don't even have their parents. You know what I mean? A lot of them being raised by an aunt or a grandma. Aunt got 8 kids, you know what I mean? Growing up in a project home and it's different, you know what I mean?
Right. You're worried about money coming into the house, At that age, you got to go get a job instead of worrying about what team you're going to play for.
That's why it's so important for, me and my team to kind of create these type of things because there's a lot of these scenarios going on in my city where these young dudes, they don't have any type of guidance or any type of opportunity, jobs or anything like that. So they on the streets and stuff like that.
It's a system. It's a cycle. So if you're born into that cycle, unfortunately, being born into something can kind of alter the rest of your life.
For sure.
Yeah.
You look at dudes like Bill Gates. Parents were super successful, good people, and that's how he got his jump start. You know what I mean? Not saying that he wasn't a genius,
no.
But a lot of people are geniuses. Everybody's geniuses. You gotta tap into your God-given talent, you know what I mean?
One thing that I respect about you a lot is that even though you're putting your guidance and your influence in the community, you're not changing the way you're going about things. You're not changing who you are. You're not, selling a false reality to the community. You're remembering who you were before you had all this and, the recognition and everything like that. You're not flashy at all. You don't sell what you have. You don't show it. You don't show, all right, I'm here now. Look back where I came from. You don't really show that comparison.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you have. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with having nice things and, and showing things off. You go to a nice trip, you want to show it off. That's cool. You know what I mean? You worked hard for your car, you want to show it off. But I think with me, it's more so of make an impact on these kids and kind of take my money and do what I'm supposed to do. I don't have no time for all that extra stuff.
People, especially with materialism in the rap industry or music industry in general, materialism is just at its finest. That's what people chase. You know, that's what's going to get them recognition in their industry or the friends or be able to fit into this party or act the way the older guys are doing it because, you know, that's what you're going to have to do. And then you're going to show the young ones that are coming into the industry. So it's like, you know, why do even influencers like yourself and people who are in your industry, right? You feel a need that you have to differentiate yourself within your own industry.
I mean, that's great. I mean, this is a good topic because, like, at the end of the day, I think that people are more drawn into my beats and my music more than what type of chain I got on, what kind of car I'm driving, what kind of watch I got or whatever. I think people are more in tune with the art. Now, certain artists, I mean, this is like I look at like hip hop, like the entertainment industry. I look at it like WWE. You know what I mean? It's a lot of dudes that, you know, you gotta put on that costume. I'm made it and I'm overly flashy and rich and this and that, and this is how they buy into my brain. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you got the people that come from nothing that never had nothing, right? Once they get it, they got to show that they have some type of work. Having
an education or being educated about handling your money, finance, why you should give back, you know, what's actually going to help the community. Even the value of money, you know, when you go buy that nice chain from the store or that car right off the lot, you know, you're losing money right then and there. And like you said, it is your own money. That's what I think is so controversial about this topic is you, at the end of the day, you'll never be able to tell somebody what to do with their money.
I feel like sometimes it's conditioning. We come up from nothing, you know what I'm saying? So when we get a pair of new sneaks or we get a fresh new fit, we feel good about ourselves and they kind of take away from the everyday struggle that we've been through. I don't think that it's just black people spending their money. I think it's an American thing. Doctors and things like that make a lot of money, right? Okay, you might be bringing in 6 figures a year. But if you find a vacation house and then you buying Range Rover and then you buying another vacation house and everybody, I mean, a lot of these people, it don't even matter what class it is. A lot of these people are struggling and they're in debt. You know what I mean? I want to teach people how to invest their money, how to take their money.
Some people say with me, oh, you know, you're lucky because you got all these accolades and these achievements. You know, you got that scholarship to college. Are certain things luck? Yeah. You know, my dad was a great influence. I had, like you, your friend was an influence, showed you real estate, showed you how to financially invest your money in the right ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think that most of these things are luck. Like, but then at the same time, you were good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I worked for it.
You were great. Yeah. You were great. You know what I mean?
You worked for it too. Your hours.
Sometimes people are like presented an opportunity. You know what I mean? It come once in a lifetime, a big opportunity.
You already have a sneaker store. You're opening more job opportunities. What exactly are you going to do with the rental properties to make sure that gentrification doesn't happen?
Right now we have we got a sneaker store. Then we got a Jahlil Beats and PA Health and Wellness clinic. We have Jahlil Beats Academy, which is a program inside Chester High School.
Educate is at the top of everything that you're doing right now. You know, you're presenting the opportunities, but you're also educating and showing what's important, you know, because some people might say, oh, you know, he opened up a sneaker store. There might be a jewelry store. There might be, you know, other expensive things or another car shop or something like that. And it's like, all right, well, that's how gentrification kind of starts, you know, and then you're also selling the fact that, you know, you got to wear this to be cool. You got to have this tech to be cool. But no, you're opening up health clinics for the community to understand and, one, care about their health, go out of their way to care about their health, and then also learn more. I mean, diet and nutrition is key. Going into the schools, showing them, you know, not only what you did, because I'm sure in an educational system where you're from, right, it's like, you know, am I even going to get to college? Will I even finish high school? But what I want to do, you know, you were very successful and you produced music. You're never going to learn that at a school.
Right.
Especially at your age.
And that's the thing. Another thing to elaborate on the education piece, I actually have a school coming. Hopefully we'll be ready by September, but we've been working on that. We have a building and it's going to be Jahlil Beats Academy. It's going to be STEM and music.
So when you see, you know, rappers or any, you know, I hate to pinpoint hip hop, but any musician or an actor or an influencer or, you know, an owner or something, when they go back to their community or where they're from and they're just throwing cash in the air, or they're just pulling up in their nice cars, trying to show off. What does that really tell you in comparison to what you're doing? You're also, one thing, you're utilizing your money and your investments towards something productive, even towards something that you might not get back, right? But it's not the sole purpose isn't for you to, make money off of this, but in a sense it is, but also, it's more important for you to open up opportunities and educate and teach, because that if you weren't taught or if you weren't educated or presented that opportunity, you would have not been able to be who you are.
Right.
So when you see that, how do you compare yourself?
That's a great question. Like, that aspect of my life, that doesn't matter. That's what's wrong with generation.
Right.
I would say. You know what I mean? I think that everybody's entitled, instead of kind of taking that energy and creating something that's just because you make it out and you make a lot of money don't mean that you have to give back to people and things like that. I always look at it like that's my decision. I say there's nothing wrong with people buying nice stuff and putting it for themselves and doing things for themselves. Right. I look at it like what I want to do is my agenda. You know what I mean?
Compare LeBron James to my rich white local doctor over here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Right.
Do you think that when you do have a highlighted name like that you're even more obligated and called out to give back?
I don't think that you're obligated, but when you do it, I think that shows your character, who you are. Right. You know what I mean? What you represent. LeBron is my favorite player of all time.
Really?
You know what I mean?
I completely agree with you. I mean, especially when you see people like Kobe and LeBron, they're not just teaching basketball, which is what they come from or what they know. They're building schools. They're involving the community. They're writing books for children to
basketball.
Right. And that's what you're doing. You're not just teaching or showing people how to produce music or even learning more about the music industry. You're doing real estate, you're doing financing, you're doing health and education. Have you ever thought about sports into the community?
For sure. It's crazy because, I come from Chester, it's a basketball town.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're from Chester, you know how to play ball. Most of us know ball. We play ball. I'm also working with my man Raymond Strickland, and we're working on bringing a pro league there, like a pro league with like under the G League. But,
right. That's one thing I was talking about with Meta. We were talking about how there's not a lot of leagues for, especially players like myself. If you did play in college, it's either you go to professional or you just stop.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Right. There's no, there's not even a G League for the WNBA.
A lot of these leagues will have a place to generate a lot of money and a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, that's kind of the decision that I had to make was how much value, am I going to give as a professional basketball player? And then also, how much value is coming back to me in terms of salary. Women don't really get paid that much. I had 3 knee surgeries. Like, I'm already down. I'm already limited. So I felt more value in utilizing basketball, right? And then going into all the resources that basketball has offered me, which I credit basketball for my social media. You know what I mean? That's my identity. That's part of who I am. So basketball will always be a part of me. And that's something that I had to kind of make a decision and come to terms with, is that, even though I'm not physically playing basketball anymore, it's still always a part of me. It's who I am. And that'll be justified with everything that I do.
But what's so cool about what you're trying to do, or what you are doing?
Right.
You've been great in basketball, right? And doing what you, and creating these fans and things like that. You already have a following.
Right.
Already. Social media blessed you, or you blessed yourself.
Thank you.
Created a following, right? Even after basketball, they're a fan of who you are, your personality, and things like that. Now you have, as a business woman or a businessman, when you have a following, you have leverage,
right.
So music was my way into business. With music, I was able to leverage my celebrity as a producer. What you're doing is, taking your platform, and you're already proven, you got Meta World Peace, and you got me on there, and I'm sure you'll have bigger influencers on here, and that's how your platform will grow.
Right.
And everybody should look at that and learn from it. Mm-hmm. Because what you're doing is very important in the business world.
Oh, I'm always trying to keep it myself. That's one thing, especially because, I worked in LA for a bit. I do have the verified check on social media, so that does get a little bit. So, it does get overwhelming, and you can be drawn into losing yourself. I have to admit that. You know what I mean? And I feel like you have those same experiences as well. So it's always hard to balance the genuinity of yourself, where you come from, and then where you're going, and the industry that's already kind of set, and you forming into that. So, you know, with all of my content, you know, no matter if I'm wearing a jersey or not, I'll always remember that person wearing a jersey and all the hard work before I had any social media, before I had any basketball, you know, who I was, you know, dedication, just grinding, just being yourself. And so that's what I want to, you know, put out there for everyone. And then also, you know, doing more. Like, I see the gaps, I see the problems, I see the issues, and voices need to be heard. Conversations need to be talked about in the right way. And then also, you know, integrating those conversations and showing the importance of that with sports, community, real estate, investments, health, and education. You know, they're all integrated. So, you know, people like yourself that have a voice and a platform. You know, I mean, you got Bobby Shmurda on the wall. You have Meek Mill hits. Come on, you're gonna be a legend too. Like Dr. Dre, I have to admit this to you, just because, you know, I'm younger and Dr. Dre wasn't in my generation. But when I really saw the importance of Dr. Dre, you know, with the music was the movie Straight Outta Compton.
Right, Straight Outta Compton.
So that was the most educated information that I got about Dr. Dre, a little bit, to be honest. And so I know Dr. Dre more so from the movie and from the beats, right? And those are two separate careers. Those are two separate, like, Dr. Dre's. So for you, you know, you could have, you're doing the impact now and you'll always have your legacy, right? But you never know what happens, you know, in a couple more years or another decade, what's going to happen. You know, Jahlil Beats might have his little headphones and all that stuff, or something different. You never know.
What you said is very important. Like, a lot of people think like it's a young man's or a young woman's game. I mean, you were very young, but after your career is over, what's next? You know what I'm saying? So Dr. Dre was able to reinvent himself so many times. That's what you're doing. You're reinventing yourself. Yeah. And you got to constantly do it. If you want the following, if you want the attention, you got to continue to reinvent yourself.
Tell me how you got Jahlil Beats. Holla at me. How'd you get that? Because you know it's crazy. We because how we met. You were doing work in the environment with Chester, right? Environmental work. My dad is an environmental scientist. And he
on the same board.
Yeah, he was. He came back to the house.
The youngest dude in the Riverfront Alliance board. I'm like, I'm coming there. I got the sweatsuit on.
Right. My dad came back to the house. I'll never forget this. Yo, he came back to the house. He's like, yeah, there's like. First of all, he said a rapper, so I'm already like, all right, you know. He's like, there was a rapper today. You know, Beats something. Beats. I'm like, who the hell? Like, who is Beats? Like everybody, you know. I'm like, Beats. Like, I'm thinking Jahlil Beats, and he's like, I think so. Yeah, I pulled up a picture, and I was like, this is so funny.
This is the story about the tag. So when I was like producing for like the local rappers and stuff like that, you know, a lot of them would like shout me out, not even being conscious of it. You know, they wouldn't shout me out. So I'm like, damn, who's gonna know who did the beat? You know what I mean? I'm already from Chester. Nobody know where Chester's at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how am I supposed to get out there? I had made a tag, and it was like, I think I did it. It was like me whispering my name. It was Crash. Right?
That's lit, though. Yeah.
So one night, a good friend of mine, she sings, and you know, I used to work at this studio called Black Cat, in Chester, and we were just in there, and she got finished her session, and she had her daughter in there, and she's like my sister.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And you know, we had a little conversation. We were just talking and stuff like that. We let her daughter sit in there. And I got her on the mic, and I played a beat, and she was just rapping for like 15 minutes.
That's funny.
And you know, I stopped it, and then you know, I kept it, and then one night I was just listening to her, and all I heard was Jahlil Beats, holla at me.
No way.
You know what I mean? It sounded like Jungle Beats.
No way. Right. I didn't know. Yeah. Well, I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know what it was. I knew it was the holla at me, but I was like, you know,
right. Was it Jahlil Beats?
I'm like,
it was a cool
damn.
Thing, it's funny because every time I go on like Twitter and I search my name, and it's like, is it Jungle Beats?
Oh my gosh, really?
Jahlil Beats, but I like it because it's a cool thing. You know what I mean? It keeps people talking, and it's kind of created a legend of his own.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but that's the story about the tag, and I just started. It's hilarious that we have these hard records, but it's like this little kid saying that little beat, holla at me.
Right. That's crazy,
Word.
man. I always wanted to know that story. That's wild. Everything you're doing in the community, I mean, this should definitely be translated to other people. And, taking initiative and making change. I think it's really crucial. The fact that, you're no longer in the music industry doing it every day in the studio, but, you're still connected with those resources. You know that music will always be a part of you, whether you're doing real estate or education or even just entertainment for the community. You're all about who you are and staying true to yourself. So it's dope.
Sure.
That's dope. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you having me on, for sure.
Yeah, Jahlil.
You keep doing your thing. This is dope.
Thanks.
This is dope. And this is the wave.
Right.
The wave.
I'll see you in Philly soon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, my guy.
You already know.
All right.
All right, want it. You
Yep.
already know.
I'll see you. Thank you,
All right,
my
peace.
guy. Peace.
Yep.
What's up, you guys? Just finished the video with Jahlil Beats. His impact and leadership in the community is exceptional. His work is going to change so many people's lives and eventually put Chester on the map. Make sure you comment below on who you want to see on the next episode for Outside the Huddle, and stay tuned.